Right now, more than 1,000 Jeep workers will be without a job at the start of the year.
Yes, Stellantis says it is scaling back production of its Gladiator pickup. And we've got live team coverage as the cuts loom just after the holidays. Andre Norrells, he is tracking the impact of those cuts and what they will have.
First, we're going to check in with Steve Iwanek, though. He is breaking down these significant cuts. Steve, why is this happening?
Over the last few weeks, the Toledo Jeep plant has seen stalled production lines. Stellantis says it needs to better manage production in order to boost their sales. Now, this comes as the company has seen a sharp decrease in their sales numbers over the last couple of years. So now it is making a sharp cut in the Glass City. A cut of 1,139 employees, shared in a letter from UAW to employees on Wednesday.
Indefinite layoffs are always scary, so that's not the first time we've had them. If you go back to about 1982, we had up to 250,000 UAW members in the auto industry were on indefinite layoff.
But why? Stellantis says in part of its statement to WTOL that it was a, quote, difficult but necessary action to reduce high inventory levels by managing production to meet sales. Stellantis is cutting down a shift from 2 to 1 in the Gladiator JT side of the plant. Whether it's permanent depends, according to Cornell University's Arthur Wheaton.
It's possible they could make the decision to add a smaller truck or add another product to make up for the lower demand for the Gladiator currently.
Wheaton says more lines means more workers, more variety, and higher customer intrigue, not just in the U.S., but globally.
And you have to be able to sell your product globally. And Stellantis is a very global company, and they're going to need the product in Europe. They're going to need to have the ability to sell them. And it would be good if you could have Jeep products sold in other parts of the world as well.
But that could depend on many economic factors, including what happens in Washington, D.C., as the presidency turns a new leaf in the coming months. But in the end, Wheaton says the end goal remains the same.
You need to have the general public feel comfortable and confident and say, yeah, I can dump 50 or 60 grand on this vehicle. I think my job's going to be safe. I think the interest rate's going to be affordable, and I'm willing to do that for my family. Otherwise, people will say, you know what? My 2014 vehicle is still running. I don't have to run out and buy a new car.
Now, we reached out to UAW Local 12 President Bruce Baumhauer for comment, but did not hear back. Stellantis says that it will be helping affected employees receive their benefits. To read how, you can read its full statement on our website, WTOL.com. Reporting in North Toledo, Steve Iwanek, WTOL 11.
We're getting a look inside sales of the Jeep Gladiator through recent years from Stellantis. The numbers show a steady decrease in Gladiator sales. At this point in 2022, there were 60,000 cars sold. Then, only 41,000 sold at this time last year. Now sales are down again this year, with just 33,000 Gladiators sold so far.
These layoffs are not only devastating to families, but they can also have an impact on the city of Toledo.
Andre Norrells joins us now live tonight. Andre, you got a chance to speak to city leaders. How are they handling this tough news?
Well, Jeff and Kaylee, first and foremost, the council members I spoke to said that they do feel for the families, but they will have to make some tough decisions in the coming months. The focus turns to what happens next after the news that more than 1,000 workers will lose their jobs from one of Toledo's largest employers.
This is very close to home.
Toledo City Councilman Adam Martinez says some of his family members are being laid off, but says all of the people who will soon be unemployed are on his mind.
Patiently wait to see how this turns out, but if there's anything that we can do as a city council, we will definitely be proactive.
City Council is working on the budget for next year. A mass layoff means less money through tax revenue. We're talking millions of dollars, according to Councilman George Sarantu.
Administration is going to get together very shortly with all the directors of the various departments and sit down and figure out what cuts can occur with the minimal effect upon the public in this delivery of services to our citizens.
Sarantu is the chair of the Finance Committee. He says the city will work with the state and county to make the unemployment process easier for all of those hit by this corporate decision.
This is not a good thing, but again, we have to do everything we can to help them out. And I'm confident that ultimately Jeep will recover and continue to do the good work that they have done over many decades in Toledo.
Its timing is very poor. Not that there's ever any good time for this type of situation, but just before the holidays, it's despicable.
Now, in a statement, Stellantis said that these layoffs could happen as soon as January 5th. We will keep following this developing story. Reporting in North Toledo, Andre Knowles, WTOL 11.
Mayor of Toledo, Wade Capsicavage, released a statement tonight on job cuts, saying in part, today's announcement of roughly 1,100 layoffs at the Toledo Assembly Plant is undoubtedly a blow for many Toledo families. Toledo is resilient, but more importantly, we are a community that rallies around its own. I'm confident that we will continue to build a strong economy full of opportunity for everyone, end quote.
Well, Jeep has been synonymous with Toledo for nearly a century. Families have relied on it for their livelihood, and the city has been its home to production of the iconic brand since World War II. It's a Jeep thing. From production of the iconic vehicles during World War II to the hybrid and electric Wranglers of today, Toledo and Jeep have a history.
We've been a big part of Jeep since its inception. We're considered one of the inventors of the Jeep.
After military production moved from Toledo in the 70s, American Motors converted the Stickney plant for vehicle production. Ownership would change hands to Chrysler in 1987. A decade later, the company started building the Toledo North Assembly Plant. It became home to the Jeep Liberty in 2001. Then, the Jeep Cherokee in 2013. That's when the company added a second shift. Toledo built its last Cherokee in 2017, when parent company Fiat Chrysler invested $700 million into the Toledo North plant to build the next generation Wrangler. Another $1 billion would be used to modernize Toledo South plant to build the all-new Jeep Gladiator. The move added 700 new jobs, and the new truck hit dealer lots in 2019.
It's the first truck that you can actually take the roof off. There's all kinds of customization that you can do with it. It's just a different look, too, for a mid-sized truck.
Now, 5 years later, sales are slumping, and parent company Stellantis is making cuts to second shift, leaving nearly 1,200 workers from the Gladiator line off the job indefinitely. The notice from Stellantis told employees those layoffs, as we heard from Andre, could start as soon as January 5th, right at the first of the year. WTOL 11 will continue to track this story as it develops. Head to WTOL.com for the most up-to-date information.